With Giles and Jones. I'm Giles, and well, where's Jones? Oh, he's over there behind the computer right now, trying to put a few things together. Little technical difficulties this morning, but hope everyone had a great week. Great week. Welcome into the show. We are the most unique show on the internet, right, buddy?
That's right.
And why are we the most unique show? Can you tell me that?
Well, because Uncle Pete right here is going to be inviting people in.
Yeah, we invite you in, guys. Come on in. Can be live with us on screen, which is always good. You don't have to get dressed. I guess you need to get dressed, but you don't have to be super pretty like me and Kent in the morning. I mean, he's always looking so dapper.
At some point you got to, but let's jump in here.
Yeah, but good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great week. We got a great topic today. We're on the grounds here. We talk about everything from peanut butter to politics, but no politics.
No,
Does that ever really end well?
It's my first show, Don. Don says, good morning. Maybe the tech guy should get there before 7:29.
We were here at 7:28.
7:28. 7:28. Listen,
a lot of traffic here in McKinney.
Of course, big shout out, right? A big shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness and to JH Events Flowers. $5 Friday. Stop over there. Yeah. See them, get some flowers. You're probably going to want them after this episode.
After this episode is going to make you cry, make you love someone more.
Yeah, we're going to want to to talk about this. What we're talking about is we interrupt your lives because we can.
Yeah.
So allegedly. Not allegedly.
There's no dust. That's the real deal. It's happening.
There is no dust. This is the FCC announces a nationwide emergency alerting test on October 4th, 2023. And we're bringing this to you as a public service announcement. And the reason that we're bringing this to you as a public service announcement is on October 4th at approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern. So 1:20 p.m. Central.
You know what? All my life, it's hard for me to keep up with that stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
So
Mountain Time.
1:20 Chicago time.
1:20 Chicago time.
Right. At approximately 1:20, not exactly. They're going to do a backup. If it doesn't work on October 4th, they are going to on October 11th. They're going to turn off everybody's cell phones.
Are they turning them off, or are they just interrupting them so you can't use them? That's what I understand. I know they're turning off per se, but they are interrupting, so we cannot use them for a total of 60 seconds. Is that correct?
What does it say? I'm just reading.
I know. I was going to say things have changed a little bit, and all the information coming out there is really weird.
There's going to be FEMA and the FCC plan a nationwide emergency alert test for October 4th. Right. Public safety and Homeland Security of Media Relations say, and this came out on August 3rd. I'm trying to read it here, but it's not
scrolling through.
Yeah, it's not given.
Maybe they're hiding it now. Yeah. But I don't want you to read about it anymore.
EAS, an emergency alert system. I'm trying to find exactly the wording. Anyway, what's happening? I don't know exactly how long they're shutting it down. There will probably be some screeches, and then everything goes black. Your smart televisions, anything that's streaming.
Yep, anything that's streaming is going to be shut down for black. 1 minute. Which is kind of interesting. Yeah. Something they had mentioned. I think we were talking. What if at that point you're trying to call 911?
Yeah,
and your phone goes dead for a minute.
Right.
Have they thought about that?
I'm sure they have.
You know, I mean, well, I get it, but these are some of the things that people are going to be bringing up and going, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?"
Yeah.
Well, you're planning ahead. Well, let's get hurt a minute after the test.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's just it.
I don't understand why they're having to actually shut down, though. My question behind that is why. I mean, it's only a minute, but a minute can seem like an eternity when something like that happens. You know.
Let's start out by drawing a picture first.
All right, let me get my pen, piece of paper.
Okay.
I'm gonna draw a picture, guys. I'm not really good here.
In 2001.
I'm gonna draw that.
In 2001, there was in September, there was an emergency.
There was a big emergency.
Big emergency. What date was that?
That was the 11th.
So if you put that
11
together,
and 11.
If you put that together, you have what numbers? September is 9.
Oh, 911.
911, big emergency.
Right.
Those of us here in America know that if you dial 911 in an emergency, you
get somebody that helps you.
Right.
Hopefully,
right to some help.
Right.
Okay.
It's kind of a coincidental.
So I want you to look. All I'm trying to do is draw a picture. For anybody who's over the age of 40, I would say probably. October 4th would be what numbers?
Be 9-4.
No, October 4th.
Oh, 8-4.
No, October.
I don't know. 10-4. Oh, good buddy.
Hey.
See, I told you I'm sleeping this morning, guys. I apologize if you're tuning in. I'm going home.
So
been a long week.
Anybody who's probably over 40 understands that 10-4 means what?
Means copy that. I understand. I get
over
it.
And out.
Over and out. Right.
Done.
10-4. 10-4. Thank you.
So interesting that huge emergency on 9/11, just coincidentally on 10-4, good buddy.
They're going to shut our phones off.
Or they're going to shut off all phones. Figure that out. I don't know.
Test to see if we can really handle not having electronic equipment for a minute.
Yeah, well,
that may be a lifetime for some people, right?
Well, can they do that? Can our government go, hey, you know what? We're gonna send out this. Now they do it. The emergency broadcast system does it every first Tuesday at noon or something like that, right? Where if you're listening to the radio, it goes.
They send out the alerts, but they don't shut it down.
This is just the test.
Right.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. We don't have an issue with that, do we?
The emergency broadcast system?
Well, no, I don't think we're done on 10-4, Don. I think that my question is why?
Why are we doing it on 10-4?
If we can go in on the radio and just interrupt, right?
Right.
Why is it that we have to shut down the streaming?
Well, there's a bunch of probably different scenarios that people could go to. I mean, are they shutting you down just to show a partial control or total control of what you can and can't do? Are they trying to install something at that moment for everybody? Right? Oh, hey, whoa! Take your hat off. I can see your head's glowing. But we're allegedly just saying,
allegedly.
But I mean, is something going to be installed in everybody's phone at the same time? That's where I went with this one. When I heard that, I said, okay. The emergency broadcast system does it with everything functioning and everything still rolling and people's there, right? Life doesn't change.
So this is FEMA and the FCC, right? So
did it say that the phone's going to restart? Do we have any details on that? Because if it's a restart system, that's obviously throws into my game.
What I'm reading right now, test messages will be sent to all TVs, radios, and cell phones. FEMA, in condition with the Federal Communication Commission. Now, it's one of the joys of having 21.6. One of the joys of having 21.6. And Don, we're not going to use last names here just because this one might get thrown off. Sounds like a good time to have your phone turned off. Does it? Or is it the best time to be on the phone talking to somebody to see if and what happens?
I would go with best time to be on the phone.
Everybody should be on the phone.
Everybody should be. Right. So that's my thought.
So one of the joys of 216 Creator Studios 21.6 the Net is that we are not regulated by the FCC, or the Federal Communications Commission, because we're global. We're on the intranet, right? So unlike a Star 105.5, an FM or an AM, they have strict
they're
guidelines.
federally regulated.
Yeah, through the Federal Communications Commission. The national test will consist of two portions testing WEA and EAS capabilities. Both tests are scheduled to begin approximately at 2:20. The WEA portion of the test will be directed to all consumer cell phones. This will be the third nationwide test, but the second test to all cellular devices. The test message will display in either English or Spanish, depending on the language settings of your wireless handset. The EAS portion of the test will be sent to radios and televisions. This will be the seventh nationwide EAS test. Now, FEMA and the FCC are coordinating with EAS participants, wireless providers, emergency managers, and other stakeholders in preparation for this national test to minimize confusion and to maximize the public safety value of the test. Purpose of the October 4th test is to ensure that the system continue to be effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. In case the October 4th test is postponed due to widespread severe weather or other significant events, the backup test will be October 11th.
So let me ask you this. When you saw that, Kent, what was the first reaction in your head as to, oh, I mean, because I know what I thought when you told me. At first, I'm like, big deal. Because I didn't read into it a little. I'm like, well, whatever. Okay, no big deal. But then my spidey senses, I guess you would say, and you obviously prompting me a slight going, oh, he didn't bring that up to me because it's just a simple cut and dry, right?
Yeah.
Black and white.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you possibly do by shutting your phone down for a minute?
Well, I
was gonna say, I think I got Kent stumped here. Hold on.
No. Let me continue to read this and then let me answer that.
All
right. This year, the EAS message will be disseminated as a common alerting protocol, CAP message, via the Integrated Public Alert and Warning Systems open platform for emergency networks. All wireless phones should receive the message only once. The following can be expected from the nationwide WEA test. Beginning at approximately 2:20 Eastern, that's 1:20 Central, cell towers will broadcast the test for approximately 30 minutes. During this time, WEA-compatible wireless phones that are switched on within range of an active cell tower and whose wireless provider participants in WEA should be capable of receiving the test message. For consumers, the message that appears on their phones will read, "This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed." Phones with the main menu set to Spanish will display "Esta es una prueba, PRUEBA, del Sistema Nacional de Alerta de Emergencia. No se necesita acción." Right.
Bueno.
WEA, I've got 210
I was gonna say, like 10 days now. Yeah, 210 days straight of learning Espanol.
Yes, and
hola, ¿cómo está?
As our good friend from somewhere not in this studio says, sounds like a good time to have your phones off, and my name is Steve. So the EAS portion of the test is scheduled to last approximately 1 minute and will be conducted with the participation of radio and television broadcasters, cable system, satellite, radio, and television providers. The test message will be similar to the regular monthly EAS test system with which the public is familiar. It will state, "This is a nationwide test of the emergency alert system issued by the Federal Emergency blah, blah, blah." Okay. So couple things come to my mind. I think dates are interesting.
Yeah, the dates definitely bring
9/11 and 10/4. That's just my weirdness. And
But it isn't. Is it just coincidence?
If the people who are doing this are as warped as I am, well, we picked September 11th for 911. We picked this for 10-4. Roger that, good buddy. Over and out. Right. Copy that. Right. So if 10-4, Google what 10-4 means in. Is it over and out, or is it? I got that. Copy that. And that's what I'm curious about. So this is where my mind went is, well, that's interesting. And I've heard a lot of things I've tried to read that's very vague as I just read it to you. So the idea that, this is only a test is it screeching and only a test, or is it,
no, see, now you're,
or are they turning it off?
So your thoughts is wrong. And I kind of is a way too. It says 10 codes, especially 10-4, meaning understood, not goodbye, not goodbye, right?
So
10-4 meaning understanding what's going on, right? First reached public recognition in the mid to late 1950s through popular television series Highway Patrol with Roderick Crawford. I don't remember that, but Crawford would use it, patrol. So 10-4 basically means copy that, understand, not done.
Says copy that?
No, I said copy that. Okay. Sorry.
Understand.
I said copy.
Good morning.
It says understand. It says to understand.
10-4 means okay or understood.
Yeah, I understand.
Is what Steve says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So copy that or understood. So understood what? Right. So in this case, where my mind went, if everything goes offline for a minute,
right?
If it goes for a minute, I don't know if it's shutting down or it's just screeching for a minute.
Yeah, 10-4 also
you're
means
unable to use it.
Okay, right? Message received.
Okay, message received. So if we take a look at that and we say, okay, message received is we're receiving what message? Or my mind goes, or do they need to shut everything down so they could upload something in that 1 minute? And then
yes.
And then right?
Yes.
And then they get copied that.
Copied that. They understand.
They understand.
I don't think they need to do anything to put anything more in there to copy that.
Right. Correct, Steve. That's where I'm going. Understood. You are going to copy that off my phone. Okay. Now, at the same time, I say, as a human being, I go, okay, cool. I got no problem with you interrupting my broadcast on TV and or on the radio. And if there is an emergency and the only communication that I have is through that cell phone, because I don't listen to the radio anymore because you're streaming 21/6 the net all the time, then I'm okay with that. Because if there's a national emergency or something needs to happen, then hey, I want to know. I want my kids to know. I want all that to know. Okay. Now, you brought up, what if somebody is calling 911 at that point? It's a minute. Could be the difference between life and death.
Absolutely.
It could not, though, because when you dial 911, it's going to take longer than a minute for somebody to help save you or get you there, right? But
or at least starting the process.
But if that call is dropped, right, and you're not and you're not listening to the grounds, and you don't know that it's going to be interrupted, and you'll be like, that son of a bitch just hung up on me.
Right? Yeah. People that don't know about this, it definitely could be something really, could be.
Or there's more widespread panic. I've called 911 and now there's a national emergency. Oh my God. Right.
Yeah. Why'd my phone die? Well, some people for 1 minute being off their phone is going to be like hell.
But now I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, this is going to be the third time this has happened. The second time was cell phones. Do you remember the first?
No.
Neither do I. So is it a big deal?
Right. That's what I'm asking you. That's why I'm saying, what was the first thing that came to your head? Because I get it, but I don't know how much, I'm going to say damage or how much more they can take from us by shutting us down for a minute that they don't already have information wise.
Well, and
allegedly,
right now, a few years back, there was a bomb that was set off at the Boston Marathon. If you remember that.
I do, right? Unfortunately.
And
not unfortunately remember
and the United States government jammed or blacked out the cell towers in that area because they were afraid that it was going to be a cell phone ignited more bombs around.
Right.
So they blacked out Boston pretty good. Absolutely no cell use at all, right?
Right.
Because they didn't want to.
Right. They wanted to
Right.
kind of foil the guy if they were going to blow off another one.
Right. There was a time in history too that, if you could remember, that the instructions were to stay in your home.
Yeah, in the event of emergency.
No, just there's bugs going around outside.
Oh, yeah.
And you need to wear a mask and you need to stay in your home. And a lot of people complied to that as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Tons.
So now we can corral you to where we want you. And now we can successfully, because we're testing it nationwide, not just in one area, control your hashtag pocket computer, which everybody relies on, right? 85% of all households in America do not have a landline telephone line.
That's a big number.
So if this is your only way to communicate, or through email on your laptop or your iPad or your whatever,
it's all electronic,
and it gets taken away, how do I now is there mass panic? How am I supposed to get anything delivered to my door without my hashtag pocket computer? My life turns upside down.
For some people,
mass hysteria, perhaps.
But for a 1-minute test,
1 minute today, you wake up tomorrow.
So you think it's something that's just going to continue to expound upon, and they're just going to keep growing it?
I'm just saying.
I mean, that's obviously a question to me.
Facebook user says, let's see if there is a freeze or on the reboot. Our good friend Lisa, we'll just use her first name. On my other account, every comment is marked as spam. Well, there you go. And now
from the show.
And now we're starting to get there. And there is no such thing as a landline anymore. I have one. They call that, but it goes through the internet. There you go. Right. It's all voice over IP probably now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
they still do have phone lines, because I cut one last week at my store.
Yeah. Well, but that's for internet and stuff too.
It was telephone.
No,
it wasn't. The internet still worked. The telephone literally cut down everything. It was pretty crazy.
So, but the question is, where do you sit on this? Are you good with it? Are you like, wait a minute, you can't do that. This is wrong. You can't.
As far as shutting me down for a minute,
you can't shut me down.
They can do whatever they want. Unfortunately, the government, we've given them all that power, and a lot of people out in the world right now have just kind of like, okay, I'll let them do that. You and I,
okay,
not.
So let me throw another rabbit hole out there. In the 1980s and 1990s, if the government came and said you are no longer to use libraries, we're closing all libraries, we're burning all the books, what would happen?
Boy, that's a wrench in this whole situation.
And here's
shut down all the libraries.
Yeah,
burn all the books.
And here's what I'm saying.
Well, that would be mass hysteria for people that really enjoy going to the
that's
library.
Where we learn.
Right. Well, that's right.
That's where we got our education from.
Right.
Now
it's our hashtag
pocket computer.
Right.
Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of learning, because I can Google things, right? And now you have the ability to take that away.
Well, I think they have that ability anyway, dude. I think that
right?
I think they have that ability no matter what. I think this one, they can shut your computer down. Your
schools, the kids all have Chromebooks. We don't, you know what I'm saying? It's all computerized. Right. Everything, is there. Well, LCP says they can. People sat quiet while being fed crumbs of luxury, and easier they handed life over. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna push it back. I'm not gonna comply, and then it's like, I guess I have to, because man, look at Scott complied, and he's got food and he's got stuff. Right. Steve says, control the messaging, control the masses.
100%. Well, that was my question right there. Right.
Yeah.
Is why my thing is I just don't understand why shutting down. Because whether you like it or not, this is controlled by the government. We pay them to use these things to learn, right? So they can do anything they want. Why are they doing it and saying that we're just doing it for a minute? What reason would they have to actually alert us to it, not doing it behind our back like most other things, allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
So that's my thing, is what is this just something that's really not a big deal, but because now everyone has become hypersensitive to all these little innuendos and things that the government's doing, right, to push our thought process, our attention to something different. Oh, they're going to shut my phone off for a minute. Well, what are they doing? I'm always talking about, right hand watching the left hand, right? I'm going to do this so you're not watching me over here. Is there a scenario with that? Yeah. What would it be? What is the advantage to that? And what could we as humans, as consumers, so to speak, do? I mean, get rid of your phone? Can't get rid of your phone. I mean, you could. It would be great, because I know when I don't have my phone, I'm much happier.
Right.
Because I'm actually just being me.
Right. So a lot of if you take a look at the USA Today,
I don't think the government works for us. I think the government controls us, Lisa. If that's what you got out of that, I need to completely recant that statement.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah. The government does not work for us. The government is a pain in the ass, allegedly.
Yeah. And, allegedly. and as Don says, remember from last week, the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is about 2 to 3 months.
Right.
Okay. Now, the other thing that I say is foreshadowing. You have to look at foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We need to talk about this and understand we're talking about a national in the United States. Now let me back up a little bit here. They did this in July, I want to say June or July, in the UK. Okay. They already did this.
Did their system out there. And what happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just said they've done it.
Oh. Okay. Anybody out there in the UK listening, please chime in. Let us know what happened.
In the USA Today article about this, it says, in light of the horrific fires on the island of Maui on August 8, when warning sirens that might have alerted people to the danger weren't deployed, it's a reminder that systems are in place should they be needed. Now, this is all well and good. The emergency broadcast system, the EAS, whatever it is, FCC and FEMA put this out on August 3rd, but the fires were on August 8th. And now the papers out there saying, hey, remember the horrific fires? This is why we're doing it. No. This happened. This was set in place before the fires.
Yeah.
Again, we're not quite sure what started those fires or why they were,
or why certain buildings burn and other buildings don't burn. Right? I mean, something to look into.
Anywho, allegedly.
Let me give me some.
Yeah, allegedly. The idea is now this comes up in an article that says, and then we go, oh yeah, oh, then I'm glad we have it, because if the sirens don't sound because of those horrific fires, it's good that they're putting this in now. No, this was set in motion before those fires, and allegedly the fires started somehow. Right. The federal emergency.
Well, of course they allegedly started somehow. My thing with that is, why is it only burning certain homes, color homes and cars?
I don't know.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to that? Allegedly, only certain vehicles and cars and houses were disappearing and getting left, but some really nice houses that had special colors didn't burn. I'm like, and I haven't dove deep into it, so if anyone else out there has been paying attention, that's the one that perplexes the shit out of me. Fire doesn't choose color.
No, not so
fire
much.
doesn't see color. It sees tinder, it sees dry, and it sees burn.
Yeah.
If it even sees.
Yeah.
As Lisa says, my whole family has shunned by so-called.
Oh, you were on one. There we go. My whole family has
shunned by so-called conspiracy theories since 2020, and now it's happening or happened, and there are still excuses and reasons they are accepted. The biggest battle to get people to come together is the pride of an ego of not wanting to be wrong, and I told you so. If these could just get set aside, that things might change more quickly. Well, it's 100%. Good morning, Shayna. Yeah, 100% with that. I mean, and you were talking, I mean, the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is about 2 to 3 months, because we have to start putting all the data together and figuring it out and compiling it for ourselves until it makes sense, right? And the people that, like what we're talking about right now, the early adapters or adopters or so, you know what I mean? We're looking
Yeah.
at it from a different perspective, and sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right. You know, I mean, that's just part of life. But when you go to question something like that, and you're that little eerie thing in the back of your head says, wait, wait, like something doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Pay attention to it. There's a reason. It's just like you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, right?
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. And I know Lisa understands that. When you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, right? It's like, okay, let's sit back, reevaluate, and figure out what's going on here. And that's kind of what's happening here. We're getting the information and we have to decipher it. And there could be some foreshadowing looking at it, like you're making. Look at the dates, 9/11.
10-4.
10-4. The
Copy
10-4,
that.
copy that. Maybe that is a good one. Copy that, or I understand. The I understand doesn't play as well into it.
Oh, well, it does.
What do they understand?
Oh, I understand. Fall in line, young man. Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
You understand?
You think you're going to be like the first Reich?
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, whoop.
If that ever happened. Anyway, yeah. So, Shana says cognitive dissonance prevents people from taking in info against their beliefs.
Yeah. I like,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I was reading that and I was kind of like, huh, okay. Well, it's because people don't want to be told something that might be true because that's not what they believe, right? So it's like, nah, you're nuts.
Right.
I don't believe that something like that can happen, but you have to keep an open mind and go, well, it really could, because anything could happen, especially these days.
So let me go back to foreshadowing, as I say, right?
Right.
We are now putting in people's minds the idea of a national emergency, a national disaster, perhaps. Okay.
So is that what you think they're trying to? This is a preemptive. Hey, we're going to get it prepped for you guys, so something might be coming down
I never
the way?
thought that with the emergency broadcast system, right? This is a test of them, right? I never did that. However, this is like closing libraries. If you are able to control that in which people communicate and or learn,
which is this 100%,
right? Is hashtag pocket computer, hashtag laptops. Everything is online now. Schools shut down because why? I've got a child that's a freshman in high school. Do you know how many textbooks she has? The answer is none.
Really? None.
Okay.
Wow.
The answer is none.
Wow.
Maybe she's got 3. I don't know. I don't pay
right,
attention.
but
Anyway.
It's not like back when you and I, when you had a stack like this, right?
Right.
And you freaking broke your shoulder trying to walk around with all your books.
We had duffel bags back then, not backpacks. Remember? Put it in a duffel bag.
I don't even think I had that, buddy.
Yeah, no, I
don't think I had that. Be honest, I got to think about that one. But
so anyway, agreed, Kent, with the subliminal messaging. I have caught it. It's more scary than many realize. No, correct, right? So you oddly, we take a look at Hollywood and how Hollywood has maybe some inside information and has foreshadowed things, and you go, oh man, what?
Right.
What was the Will Smith movie with the robots? iRobot.
That was a crazy movie, and I think that's a foreshadowing.
But now those type of robots are walking around playing basketball against people. I mean, they're showing these things, right?
Right. So a lot of movies and a lot of cartoons and stuff actually have a lot of foreshadowing in them about what's up and coming in the world.
BT Dub, what's up?
So you know what's funny is when we were was it Man Camp? I think it was.
Okay.
I was sitting there and my phone, I couldn't get any service or there was something.
Yeah, that's
and I was like, right. Well, no, but it was I don't know why this was anything particular, but I think I was talking to you, or I can't if it was you or not, but I looked, I'm like, you know what? I finally figured it out. Everything is going digital, right?
Yeah.
So then you don't have books, you don't have anything except this to take care of everything, right? Allegedly, right?
Yeah.
And that's funny that this whole thing came up because I looked at, I still want to think it was you, but regardless, I was doing my conspiracy theory thoughts, and I'm like, that's what it is. They've got us so addicted to these phones
that now, said that to me. Yeah.
Okay, it was you? Okay, I couldn't remember that. You know how easy it's going to be for them to shut the world economy down, allegedly. Like literally, it's going to because how much business do you do on your phone?
Now, again, listen to all the bots that are listening. This is just a fun little podcast where we have a little bit of fun as two guys having coffee. We talk about anything from peanut butter to politics, but no politics. And all we're saying is this is like a murder mystery. This is like a murder mystery. We are not spreading misinformation.
Nope.
Because there will be a test on 10-4
Well,
at approximately 120 Central Time. On your cell phones, on your laptops, on your TVs, everything, as our great nation is testing.
Unbelievable nation. But
right?
our thing here is just, we always just like to say, why? What if? Think about it.
We just like to
think
have
about
a
it. We like to have fun and go, hey, this is what my crazy mind was thinking today.
This show is not about spreading misinformation. This show is like a fiction book on Friday mornings. Allegedly. All right.
All right. What did Lisa say?
Hopefully the bots caught that and we're not silenced.
When the country and world get focused on anger, hate, and fear, it distracts and puts the mind into survival. Absolutely. That's what anxiety is, survival mode, right? When the mind is in survival, nothing else is seen, right? We're focusing 100% on all that stuff in front of us because they're scaring us. Right?
Keith, if you just popped in, we're talking about the United States emergency system shutting down the cell phones on 10-4, good buddy.
Right.
What are your thoughts? This is a guy who's...
Lisa, remember back, God, it's got to be a year or more, the podcast I had with the right amount of disinformation and
honey, you could have a nice tea.
Yeah. But no, remember I was talking about that with the right amount of thing and fear, you could actually control everybody if you put just the right amount. And I can't think of what it was, but we had an entire show on that one. And that's where we're going right now, is they're putting just enough doubt in our heads and just enough information to put together and get everyone start to stir. And
Keith says, hold on. Let me get my tinfoil hat on. Well, we've seen the impact of digital manipulation in the form of mutating definitions. It's like a living Mandela effect. Well, that is. Well, the freedom of speech has gotten crazy too. We could actually talk about that. There were warnings on cassette tapes when I was growing up because of foul language, and those artists said, "Hey, man, this is freedom of speech." Well, now we allow people to create definitions and create things. I heard one yesterday that I had never heard before, and it was environmental racism. Environmental racism.
What? Someone just trying to make up words?
Can't make that up.
What is an environmental racist?
That's not for this show.
We're gonna have to look into that for next week because that's intriguing.
So Shane says, just got off a mountain. What happens at 120 on 10-4? It will be an emergency system cell phone
test. They're shutting your cell phone down for 1 minute.
It'll be screamed. They will take control of all cell phones, televisions, anything that streams for it goes on for 30 minutes, but more than likely it'll last on your device for 1 minute.
Yeah.
So you will, if you're on the phone or whatever, it'll be disconnected.
John, what does he says? I looked up if the time 220 has any significance to make us feel a little bit better. 220 is a harbinger of good news, and it's also a sign of great fortune.
There you go.
Well, what about nothing to worry about?
120.
120.
That's where I live.
That's what I used to weigh.
Yeah. Right.
On my left leg.
So all that I'm saying is, interestingly enough, how do you boil a frog?
Turn the water up slowly but sure. Right.
And that's you don't throw them in a boiling pot. So maybe in America, and I can't speak for the rest of the world, but maybe in America, water's starting to get warm, but I don't like it.
Right. Well, I don't think in a lot of respects that you're wrong, right? We're slowly being changed as to what we accept and what is acceptable, right? And what's typical, quote unquote normal in our lives. And if you look back, historically as to how we are and what we do and the controls.
Now listen,
huge.
We're not trying to create conspiracy. And Keith and I know a guy who went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Wow, right? And all we're saying is we're just creating ideas and having a nice
not
little
even
podcast.
Creating ideas. These are things that nice pot. And these are the questions that we have as friends. And being friends, you question each other and you ask people why you're doing something. What's your thought on that?
Yeah,
And we're just
do it
looking
at
for everyone
420.
else's
Do it at
thoughts.
420 and make it interesting, right?
Yeah,
And that's why everybody be stoned. Like, hey,
Is
all
there
right,
anything
cool.
wrong with that?
Whatever. Yeah. Nothing on 120. So only the Eastern time zone will get the good fortune. What time zone is Washington, D.C. in? That's correct. It's out east. That's out east, eh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I don't have an issue because if there is a national emergency and I'm mowing my lawn and listening to Pandora or 21.6 The Net, then I want to be alerted, right? I want to be alerted.
Do you? Do you want to know if something bad's going to happen
Sure.
and you can't control it?
Sure.
Some days I do, some days I don't. Depends on what it is. And
Yeah,
what
it's like back in the day, Shayna. Yeah, anybody who was around in the '80s remembers the controversial mini series, The Day After. Remember, this was a controversial miniseries about the day after the nuclear bomb exploding in America.
I never watched that one.
Right, and that was very controversial, right? And I tell people, I'm like, well, first of all, if that thing blows, I'm going to go stand outside and look directly into it. I don't want to be around after that.
Right.
Melt me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Watch it happen.
I don't want to be around dying of grossness and stuff. Right. Let's battle that wind.
All right. Let's finish out and go home.
Yeah. All kidding aside, Don says, we do need to be able to get info in an emergency. Problem is, all the government has done to cause us to be suspicious. Right.
And I was just going to say,
correct.
It's exactly it. And realistically, this might be nothing, but the fact that so many weird things have been happening in the last few years that it's like you can't help but suspect something. Like there's always an ulterior motive, right?
Yeah.
Might be good, might be bad. We just don't know. But now our spidey senses are tingling a lot more. So now simple things like this come up and go, ooh. Yeah. What could they put in this pie and in this Kool-Aid? Right. What kind of Kool-Aid are you drinking today?
And Robert, absolutely. I read that just a little bit ago. You're absolutely right. Is the horrific fire in Maui on August 8th when warning sirens that might have alerted people to the danger weren't deployed. It's a reminder of what systems are in place should they be needed. Correct. However, they sell it on those fires because that's still tugs at our heart right now. But on August 3rd is when they sent out and set this in motion,
right?
And that
was
on
before
August
the even
8th,
fires
so
happened. Yeah,
it was 5 days before these fires. But interestingly enough, as I said, hey, we set this out on August 3rd. 5 days later, we have a horrific incident
which they couldn't alert them because it hadn't been updated yet.
Right?
Have you read into that much, the whole Maui thing?
No.
Okay, look into it because it's very interesting.
There's a cool paper on how the change in the Earth's magnetism has a detrimental effect on mental health. I would agree. I mean, we're all energy. We get pulled that way, right?
I'd love to. Hey, Shane, if you could send us that information on that paper, I would love to read that because for me, it's all about brain thought process, what's going on out there, and how to keep
right
your mental health intact. Because no matter who you are, you always have to deal with keeping yourself healthy and keeping that brain functioning right.
Yeah, I mean, and listen to what I'm saying is I really don't care, right? The government's going to do what the government's going to do. I've never been outside of America, so I love America. Here's where I am. This is what I am. And there's my faith rests in Jesus. Okay. So if God is in control, why am I going to worry about what happens? Right. And if I rest my faith in my faith and in my relationship with Christ, guess what? I'm good. So it doesn't matter what happens. Right. Because to live is to live for him, to die is to be with him. Hey, I'm in good shape. Okay. So for me, what I'm saying is hey, look at it and go, wait a minute. Well, this is weird. I don't think testing the emergency system is weird. I think the foreshadowing is weird.
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's the thing, is it makes you question something that really years ago we would have never thought twice to question. But now, because things are so questionable and there's so many weird things that are happening, and the world's changing so quickly, that it's like, well, wait a minute.
Here in Illinois,
how does this dial into the big picture? Thanks, Shayna.
Here in Illinois, in McHenry County anyway, the first Tuesday of every month at noon, the sirens go off.
Tornado
sirens, right?
And that's been going on since we were kids.
So when that happens, we go, huh, must be the first Tuesday.
How come they don't have tornado sirens through your phone? Right?
Maybe that's
what they're going to do now, because that would be nice, because some of those tornado sirens, you can't hear them.
Right.
I mean, depending on where you're at, you don't hear it, or something in the distance, like, what is that, until you really pay attention.
Right.
But,
so for me, I'm too small of an individual to be able to control if the United States government, if the families that run the world decide to make a play, right? And so here's, as a husband, as a father, my job is to say and be there for my family and do what's right by my family.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
You're right. And that's, I mean, can take care of and be close to everyone that's near and dear and dear.
Now, do I go out and shoot squirrels and skin squirrels and eat squirrels? Not right now. Could I? If I had to, right? Well, you don't own a gun. Nope. But if I had to, we'll figure something out. I mean,
well, we're easily adaptive.
Eagle tastes like chicken.
But you're gonna adapt to your circumstances. That's just the way you are.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Look how many people we freak out as an older generation, but look how many Gen Zs, millennials are living off grid, right? And live on homesteads. Got a trailer, small tiny house or whatever, solar panels, and they raise their own chickens, foods, and things like that. They're not bothered by this at all.
No, they're completely right. They're checked out. Basically, they're living their own life, their own best life, without as much outside influence,
right,
or as little as outside influence as possible, which is a great way to live. I enjoy being outside, good stuff, right? But it is a harder life, right.
So,
but more peaceful.
We can look back at a time where, hey, you have to stay inside, and toilet paper was a premium. People were punching old ladies for toilet paper, and there's probably people who still have. Why? Why not go for nutrition? Why not go for whatever? What we decided to go for was toilet paper.
It's a funny one. I laughed about that one too. Like, oh my God, I'm stuck in my house. I got to shit 3 times a day, so I better stock up on toilet paper.
Over here under our coffee station, we still have rolls of toilet paper that Uncle Pete got and brought here. It's true.
Yeah, think about how crazy that really is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, we're gonna have just a world meltdown. Get toilet paper. Get toilet paper. How about get water, get food, get vitamin, get your medication.
Vitamins, medication.
Oh, I mean, food. They're gonna shut down. I mean, they made it, and then water. They made the run on water, which 25 years ago, I think it was, somebody came to me and said, hey, you should invest in our company. We're going to be doing bottled water. It's like, dude, why are you nuts? Bottled water. Water's free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now look at it.
And that was a penny.
It was
give me $1,000.
It was nothing. I mean, I tell you, if I invested a couple $1,000 back then, we would own the water.
Yeah, that same TP costs 30% more now.
Yeah. Everything. 30%. That's cheap.
That's true.
That's cheap.
Good return on investment. But yeah, I mean, so here's all that I'm saying is I just like to look at things and not question, but kind of look at meanings of things. We had 9/11, huge emergency for the United States nationally, right. Interesting that an aluminum plane was able to, slice through steel like that. Anyway, that's a whole.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going right back at
it. And then back in 1969, there was an interesting way that we we have more computing power in our hashtag pocket computer than was known to the United States at that time, but we were able to land on a different planet, allegedly. Right. I'm just saying, I'm just saying that if we take a look, and now it's 10-4, copy that.
Well, I think the big,
Understood.
Yeah, I think the big thing that I take out of all this, or coming from you too, and I know you love my statement, but it's kind of question everything, not necessarily everything in the world, but there's a lot of things that you have to question as to why, right? What's its meaning? What's it doing for me? What's it has not done for me?
I just find life more interesting and spicy in my boring life. If you take a look at the Truman Show, if you remember,
that was great.
That's all of us. We have that, right? And so by creating little stories in my own mind like this, it makes my world and my life very exciting, right? It makes it exciting. So why not? How many times do you sit and watch a mystery movie and or a mystery show, and within the first 10 minutes you're like, she did it, and then the movie comes my way. I hate
not
you.
even close.
I hate you. Why'd you know that?
Yeah,
well, you can tell she did it.
Right.
So that's what I like to do in my life, is create fantasy stories and alleged things, but I'm not the only one. So all I'm saying is that there's a lot of people, the way I look at it is, growing up in the 80s in the Cold War era, our number one nemesis, right? Our Dr. Evil was the USSR.
Right. In the old Cold War. Yeah.
Absolutely. They don't tell they hold things back from their people. They starve people. They keep people homeless. They don't tell them everything. They don't let them know everything they should. And if that sounds like America today, that's interesting to me. Have we become our own Dr. Evil? Because
I don't know.
Because we have huge homelessness issues. We have huge starvation issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For you,
I know. We're told what to believe, what not to believe.
Or at least pushed heavily in certain directions, right? And it's hard not to succumb to peer pressure with everyone else, to fall in line,
yeah.
Right?
So,
and that's where, for me, I'm different. You like to look at these things and, pull them apart and so on and so forth. For me, it's hard. I try to pay
there's a reason,
little attention to the things I know I have no control over.
There's a reason when we were kids, we used to do dot to dot, connect the dots. All right. I say live open to the possibilities of something you never imagined. That's in both positive and negative ways, but don't live controlled by the fear of things you have no control over. Amen.
Exactly.
That's a great thing.
Well, and that's a lot of people do live that way. Staying open to possibilities of something you never imagined. That's you're dreaming, right? That's looking towards it, keeping yourself open, working towards something. Problem is now is everybody's being controlled, or allegedly, and being, I don't even want to say told, but told what to think or how to feel, and everyone else is chiming in their 2 cents.
Listen,
so everyone's kind of joining together and not, being individualistic.
If we lose the electrical grid, how are we going to be alerted to the looming disaster? Well, that's why it's on the cell phones. So, as long as your cell phone is charged, or your laptop is charged, or whatever is charged, then you're good, right? I don't know exactly how cell technology works, but here's the other thing that I'm going to say. All over the Midwest and the Plains states and out on the coasts, there are huge wind turbines. We call them wind turbines. Have you seen these?
Yeah, so that's hilarious, because I literally was, as I was going to Iowa this weekend, right? I looked at those and I said, Dad, Kent and I were talking about, think about this. You see those big, huge wind turbines, right? They spin 110 miles an hour. They're all in different directions, right? They're not facing the same direction, which, okay. And I said, but here's the thing. They're supposed to be creating energy. Have you ever watched them put them in? I said, did you see anybody connect any type of wiring to put that power to go somewhere? That's for me. If anyone knows, please tell me, because when they build those towers, I have not seen them put a wire underneath the ground that runs to a storage battery somewhere. You can't put that power through the air, can you? So that was my thing. Where are they charging? So we talked about it. That's changing our weather. Can they get those to spin and change the vortex? Right? So is that crazy? So if anyone knows about these wind tunnel towers,
I don't know.
how do they get the power generated from these big arms to a common source
Now, when
to
we
distribute it?
when we say big fan arms, these are a city block long.
And they're like 300 feet long.
Yeah,
They're 300 feet long. You see them going down the highway,
right.
you know,
It's like
on
a
the
football
trail.
field.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy, and that's just one.
And that 15-mile-an-hour breeze out there in the country is going to turn that big thing.
Yeah, right. Well, no, you know what's funny? Like I said, they're going 110 or 120 miles an hour at the tip.
Yeah.
Think about how much turbulence that changes and how that can move everything around in the atmosphere, right?
I'm just saying.
And for people that don't get that, think about the time you're behind a truck and the truck pushes air on you and moves your car around.
Climate racism.
That's 55 miles.
Environmental racism. There you go. All right.
Is that environmental racism?
While looking at the Earth material, fears maybe consider also looking to the non-Earth energy too. You may find you have a new foundation to hold on to. There you go. And tune in to our good friend
Lisa
this Sunday, of course. This Sunday new show at 9. Which is great, and it's going to be spirit signs, messages, and guidances. She kind of floats right into everything that we do here.
So Lisa says, while looking at Earth, did you do that one?
We just read that one.
One of my favorite sayings is nothing really changes, and it's always something. The secret is to be your authentic self and let things play out and keep your marbles.
Absolutely. Cannot agree.
Right.
100%.
Right. And I feel that's a big challenge for a lot of people.
It's too big for a bumper sticker.
Right. But I feel a lot of people are challenged these days to feel like they can be their authentic self because they feel like they're being judged. Right.
Yes.
By everybody else and what, everyone should do based on what their hashtag pocket computer is saying out there is, acceptable anymore.
Yeah. Shane is like, I actually just passed some poor trucker that managed to get stuck blocking on ramp with one of those wind blades.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I don't understand either, but they're and none of them are if when I think of a windmill, if you have windmills out there and the wind's blowing, they're all spinning because the wind's blowing.
Well, windmill goes on a farm.
No, I understand, right? I'm just saying it's the same concept.
It's the same concept, but you can see where the power goes from that windmill to the ground for that farmer.
Well, yeah,
you can't see where this power is going.
It took a drive down to the mill. That's why it's called a windmill, and it would grind.
Right, would grind everything up. You could see where that energy is being used. Where's the energy being used from those big windmills? Well, they call them wind farms.
Wind farms now.
So how can you farm air?
Anyway, yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Being authentic has some folks being targeted these days. That's very true too, Steve. Listen, it's very, very true. And I listen. I love to have conversations about the what ifs, right? Because that's how I,
that's how we learn too.
Right?
What if? And that's how you come up with different ideas and strategies. What if?
And I also love going, was way wrong there. Dead on there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that it's, I just, trust is something that's earned. Right. And I think if we take a look at the powers that run the United States, I don't think they have earned too many people's trust. I think over the course of the years, they've lost a lot of that trust. And that's why I think we have the predicaments that we have now. If you have free range chickens, you're going to lose some to the wolves, right?
Well, it's just a fact.
But if you don't have free range chickens, you've got pretty good control over those chickens and the wolves.
No fencing. No fencing. No power.
Right. I mean, to me, I would rather, love everybody, live a happy life, and
well, now you're speaking my language, and a normal human being,
and recognize the people that are crazier than me.
Right.
Like, well, and that person is cuckoo.
Well, and that's the way I'd love the world, helping everybody out, being kind and courteous to everyone, helping everyone, grow, you know, just helping everyone to survive, right? I mean, that's you and I love doing that. Helping people is help yourself, help people. It's just the world would be so much better place if we had people that just cared about everybody else and not what they thought about everybody else, or put their opinion on everybody else to make somebody maybe feel worse.
Right.
You know, just be your authentic self, do what you want to do. And if it's not hurting anybody else, have at it.
So Shana says cell phones won't work after an EMP event. All electronics will fry unless in a foundry cage.
Faraday cage.
I don't know what that means. Should be interesting. Books have never been more important. Exactly. I agree.
Because if you're getting rid of the books, you don't have it in print.
What happens?
That way you can't pull it up on the internet.
What happens when this emergency system does and people go, my phone doesn't work? Can you admit Kent, you admit you're wrong
and the world doesn't end. Make that new bumper sticker. It seems now closed minds have open mouths, so therefore the fear and hate spread even after proven wrong. Well, if you start putting stuff in people's heads, you know what I mean, you're going to start getting them do the old whirly and things could get out of control. But if you don't think about things and you just sit back and let it happen,
it's truly too all this climate change and whatnot. This blue marble that we're on has taken care of itself for eternity. And if it's going to blow up, it's going to blow up. There's really not much we can do. And I don't think any of my family at this point will ever see the implosion of the world.
The world rights itself.
Yeah, it would be.
The world rights itself.
I mean, that's what I got. I've got this, I've got this wristband that says, what does it say? In a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Yeah.
Be nice. Just be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the old adage, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Right.
We No, because you have a weird store that some people like to be choked and gagged. I don't want to be treated that way.
But do you treat somebody the way
I don't necessarily want to be spanked?
You want me to be nice to you?
I don't necessarily want to be spanked either. So I don't like that saying.
Nice to you, you be nice to me.
Okay, well that's different.
I'm not talking this special stuff, dude. You're killing me here.
Different. We all have an energy reserve, and what we quote unquote pay attention to deflates it. Spend carefully. I say that all the time. Every day we're given a ring of energy, and depending on where you spend that energy, it either goes quick or it lasts. Mother Earth will throw our asses off.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Hey, Deidre. Hope you had a great birthday.
That's what she comes up. No one's forcing you to get spanked.
No, I'm just saying that if you treat me like you want to be treated, if you want to be spanked or whipped or flogged or whatever, I don't necessarily want that. Don't treat me like that. Right? But maybe I do.
Whatever. Yeah. I was going to say, deep down in your head, that's some foreshadowing there.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, look, we've already reached the end of the hour here. Holy cow. Hey, by the way, I just want to shout out happy birthday to my grandson, 1 year old.
Oh, he's one.
That's crazy.
The Hudson Hornet.
The Hudson Hornet. That's right. That's right. But we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us today.
There's nothing to fear other than you're going to lose a little bit, maybe a minute to 30 minutes, depending on how this all works out. If there's bad weather across America, it's not going to happen. I'm almost going to be positive that October 4th is going to be a beautiful day across this.
It's going to be a normal day, but it's something to think about. That day's coming up, just to kind of pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Don't just ignore things. Pay attention. Be like, might be nothing, might be something, but if you're not prepared, what are you going to do? So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Go out there and be the change you want to be in the world. Thanks for tuning in to 216.net. Continue to watch us every day, all day, and listen. 216.net, and we're out.
I think we're almost out.
We're almost out.
We'll get rid of this here. And then let's get that going. That's good.